So here's some breaking news on the Microsoft Activision deal. If you've been following from last year, Microsoft is looking to obtain acquisition of Activision. And Activision is a phenomenal company in the video game space. They make titles like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and the deal's been going back and forth from a point where it looked like it wasn't going to happen to now. News has come out from the EU perspective to say, hey, this might have a chance of actually going through. And I'll bring you to the article right here. Here's the report. So Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard is seemingly one step closer to becoming a reality. According to Reuters, the European Union's European Commission will likely approve the blockbuster deal after Microsoft made concessions to both Nvidia and Nintendo. In February, Microsoft announced it reached agreements with Nintendo and Nvidia to bring its games, including the wildly popular Call of Duty, to competitors' platforms for the next 10 years. For Nintendo, that means Activision Blizzard games like Call of Duty will be available on its Switch and future consoles. Nvidia, meanwhile, will be able to offer Call of Duty and other Activision titles via its Nvidia GeForce Now Cloud gaming platform. Nvidia opposed the acquisition until the last minute deal with Microsoft. This is huge news. And the only one that's really fighting this right now, folks, is Sony. Sony is not happy about this potential acquisition. Well, ultimately, Call of Duty is an incredibly popular game which will bring in tons of revenue to Microsoft. In the first week alone, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 raised about $1 billion in sales in the first 10 days while it was on the market. So it's an incredibly popular game as a third-party title, and now becoming a first-party Microsoft title is huge. Now, obviously, Sony is Microsoft's biggest rival. Them getting Call of Duty taken away from them is obviously bringing up concerns. However, if you are an investor into Microsoft, here's where things kind of get interesting, because an acquisition of this company is going to probably bring in tons more revenue. Now, they've acquired ZeniMax, which is another video game developer, which is the parent company of Fallout, the Elder Scrolls, games like that, which are phenomenal titles. So having another platform or developer like ZeniMax, which is Activision, which is even larger, is going to be a huge boost to this company. So just to give you guys a comparison, here is Microsoft loaded up on the StockSpec software. This is software I use to screen these companies. We're ranking the company an 8 out of 10. And from a financial statement basis, Microsoft is an extremely strong company. They're only getting knocked in two different points, one being their leverage highly in debt to equity, and their price earnings ratio is trading at a premium of $33.43. I recently covered Microsoft earlier in another analysis, but just to say, folks, on average, and just looking at their company metrics, they're carrying around $47 billion in free cash flow for the last 5 years on average, and the trailing 12 months is currently $59.62. They have a lot of cash on hand. They are just waiting to get approval so they can actually make this deal happen. But here's the thing. This is a company that has been progressing over the last 5 years. This is a phenomenal business to get into. It's one of the two titans. You either have Microsoft in your portfolio, or you have Apple, or you have both of them. Now, the biggest gripe I had with Microsoft is that it was currently overvalued from a price perspective. The price has to come down to something a little bit more favorable, and I can, if you want, you can check out that analysis up here. I'll link it here, but I'll probably run through the numbers on this video as well. If this deal goes through, folks, this will probably be one of the largest things to ever happen in gaming. Microsoft has really been just throwing their bags of cash at these developers and just purchasing them up. Now, granted, it is creating somewhat of a monopoly, but if you are an investor, this is the thing. If you don't care about gaming, if you don't care about it as a pastime, owning Microsoft as a company, this is where things get very exciting. But there's still a lot of hurdles to go through. And here's the thing, like, you are looking at EU's approval, you have to go through the FTC. There's a lot of other hurdles for this company to go through, and Sony is not making it easy for this company, and rightfully so. Obviously, they're trying to protect their best interests. If it doesn't go through, ultimately, consumers win. Look, if you're going to own a Sony platform, now you still have access to these games, which is great, but if it does go through, investors win. So if you care more about the investing world, you want this deal to go through, because then what happens is you can actually make money on the arbitrage play. The company's stock price currently is around $77, And once they purchase this company, it'll be purchased for $91 a share. So that arbitrage play of $20 a share is pretty much instant cash in your pocket if the deal goes through. So this is where things are going to get interesting. Now, on the next video or following video, I will cover Activision to see what a fair value for the company will be, because ultimately what I like to try to do as an investor is position myself in a point where, hey, is Activision a decent company? Because obviously Microsoft is seeing potential in this business. If the deal doesn't go through, what can I do as an investor to say capitalize on that business if it's strong enough to bring in revenue and it's getting the attention of this multi-trillion-dollar company? So what I'm going to do, folks, though, just for your benefit, is I'm going to run the numbers on Microsoft so you have an idea of what you should be paying for this company today. Ultimately, this will change if that deal goes through. And folks, if you are liking this video, hit that like button and subscribe button. I'll show you what I just did here using the price analysis section. This software here, follow the links in the description box below, or go to www.stockspect.com, 7-day free trial. Check it out, guys. So I've run through the numbers. I've used some conservative revenue growth numbers for Microsoft because as it currently stands, it is a $1.84 trillion company. I can't expect this company to be growing exponentially over the next little while. Granted, the revenue growth might increase once it has Activision underneath its belt. But currently, with those numbers and with the profit margins staying the same, a free cash flow margin staying the same, so the average calculation comes up to be $168.83. Now, it's a far cry from the $247.27 that's currently on the board. However, if Activision gets acquired by Microsoft, you can probably anticipate that price being more higher to $247 than it is to $168, because now you have this additional company as an additional stream of income with a phenomenal IPs attached to it. So here's the thing, as it currently stands right now, Microsoft $168.83 if you want to buy it at a conservative basis with a margin of safety. Now they acquire Activision, you can guarantee it'll be worth a lot more, but that would guarantee that you're getting this company, this phenomenal business, for a discounted price. Granted, I don't know what's going to happen first, if this price will come down or if they will acquire Activision first. That's the toss-up right here. Ultimately, I don't want to overpay for Microsoft one way or the other. So if it happens that Activision gets acquired by Microsoft, then I would have to do a recalculation and say, okay, well, now does this price look a lot more attractive? We're in this middle of the road. It's either the deal goes through or it doesn't. But I will follow this deal a lot more closely and will give you updates on what I think will happen. Anyways, folks, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with a friend. I will see you in the next one. And if you haven't done so already, hit subscribe for more videos like this. I will follow this deal a lot more closely and give you updates as it happens. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening right now, and this would be huge in the video game industry if it goes through. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you don't miss out on this stock right here. Now, I believe this might be the potentially best investment going forward in 2023, given everything that's happening.